Welcome, children of light. You tuned into the Phoenician Star. And we're going to begin by taking a few deep breaths just to show some gratitude for being alive. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's go. Picking up on someone who has some tension in their neck. And I feel like today's message is my throat is a little scratchy today. And for those of you who are new to my channel, I have some issues, around my throat anyway. So if I clear my throat or cough, and it irritates you, sorry about that. Um, but I feel like today's message is time for release. And I feel like this is for those of you who have done everything that you know how to do. You've spent the majority of your time praying, pushing, moving towards a goal. You've made prayer requests. You've got your prayer box full. Um, you've organized your vision board. This is for people who have been consistently working on reaching the next level or reaching a goal, trying to stay on target. And I feel like it's time to release all of that. If you're looking for a ritual to do, don't do it all at once if you don't feel like you can handle that. Don't pressure yourself, but maybe get everything or at least one thing, a few things off of your vision board, out of your prayer box, and put it into a burning bowl. Toss it in the trash. Let go of it at the crossroads of your understanding. Now, for those of you who are using the burning bowl, don't light it with anger. Don't light it with frustration. Let that be a fire of love to where you are releasing these things into the universe so that I'm moving up too far ahead, but I'll keep going. Um, Even if you don't have those things written down on paper for you to actually burn or get rid of, even if it's just all in your head, imagine yourself like creating a bonfire in your head and you're setting all that stuff and you're setting all of that in a lovely blaze of fire. I feel like it's time to let it go because what we have subconsciously done is limited the universe and just how they help us. We have all these goals, we have all these aspirations, we have all these limitations. We feel like we have to reach a certain mark before we get a certain age. We have to have a certain kind of house. Happiness will only come when I can make this much money, when I can have this kind of house, this kind of car, this kind of relationship. When I am this person, this perfect person, then I'll be happy. Then I'll be living my most authentic life. When we really don't realize that we're living our most authentic life as of right now. The thing is, maybe yourself, maybe it's generational, maybe it's the world, maybe it's other people's opinions and societal norms has you thinking that it has to be a certain way when it doesn't. The greatest act of rebellion is just you stopping everything and being grateful for being alive, taking time to feel the wind, blow across your skin, to feel the warmth of the sun across your face, to listen to your loved ones argue, if they're not fighting, if it's just kind of bickering back and forth. That in itself is a blessing, because there's someone out there who doesn't have any loved ones, who don't have friends, who can't hear other people talking and bickering, and that's really all they want to do. They want to hear it one more time. And here we are, not really being ungrateful, but thinking that, oh, I wish that this would end. I wish that everything would be quiet. I wish that things were perfect. Things are never going to be perfect. Life is the way that it is. And we've got to release all these stipulations and limitations and these glass ceilings that we place on ourselves, so that we can actually be happy in life. There's a book called The Magic of Surrender by Ingas Life. And in it, it gives the analogy of holding something so tightly in your fist that nothing else can get through. Not only can your dreams, not only are you holding your dreams this close that they can't even grow, but is not allowing the dream to actually take root and grow, and the universe can't even get that blessing into you because you're holding it so tight. There's something to be said about going with the flow of life, and that's such a cliche line. Everybody says that, go with the flow, but what does that really mean? Let's think about it in terms of a stream or a river. And I think this was in the book too, but I may be mistaken. I may have heard it somewhere else. I can't remember. I've heard so many things. If you hear a car passing or something like that, I live in the city. My background isn't quiet all the time. Sorry about that. But I've heard so many things, and I've taken in so much knowledge that sometimes I can't remember where it comes from. So this may have come out the book, but there's something about, someone said something about witnessing a stream or a river. And when you put something into the water, it doesn't fight the current. It just goes with the flow. It doesn't try to force a decision on whether or not to go right or left. It just goes with the normal, natural flow of things. And that can be said for what it is that you're trying to do. This doesn't mean that you give up on your dreams. What it means is that you allow the universe to do what is best for your life. You continue to do you and work towards your goal, but you open up your fist a little bit. You go with the flow. You kind of glide through this life and be grateful for it, because nobody wants to talk about this, but we don't know when our time is up. And the last thing that I would want for you is for you to look back on your life and say, I couldn't even enjoy it because I was trying so hard to reach the next level. You are the next level. That's the message. You are the next level. I do want to pull some cards just to see if there's anything that can come out that will help us. And we already have the Four of Cups. But wait one second. We have the Four of Cups and the Emperor, and I feel like this is really speaking to business, having a business mindset. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with pushing towards productivity if you need it, but there is a such thing as too much pushing. Um, I was listening to somebody talk today, and they were saying, oh, I know everybody is stressed, but keep your foot on the gas, give it 30 more percent. And there are times in life when it is time to gear up, to push down, to drill forward, have tunnel vision, to keep pushing. There are times to get serious, but then there are times that you need to sit back, be open, and receive all that the universe has to give to you. It's not always a time to trigger warning. I'm about to talk about sex. Okay. Um, with a man inserts himself into the woman. He pushes his way inside, and the woman usually receives. And I feel like for all people, man or woman, we need to be in a position of receiving. We really need to just sit back and let things come to us. We pushed enough, we prayed for enough. God knows what it is that we want to need. I also feel like a lot of people are worried about politics right now, especially in the U.S. with elections and everything coming up. I hate to say this already, but in the spirit world, it's already decided who's going to win. You still go out, you vote. If there are some people who don't vote, and I'm going to leave my personal opinion out of there for right now, but if you vote, go vote. If you're not going to vote, then sit down and be quiet and let everybody else take part. Let's whatever is going to happen is going to happen. We've done enough, we've prayed enough, we've talked enough, and hopefully you are aware enough to know what it is that's going on around you. Sit back and let it come. There are certain things that you can't pray away. You can't push away. You can't force things to go the way that you want it all the time. There are some people who say, if I don't have kids by the time I'm 30, then I'm not going to have it. And when they turn 35, then they're pregnant, or, they get somebody pregnant. You can't put a stipulation on what the universe has for you. And we've got to kind of pull back on that. The things that we want for ourselves right now, I feel like it's time to release it. What we have in mind for us is nothing like what the universe have, and we have to allow the universe to gift it to us. um yeah, that's what I want to say about that. I think the saying is, I'm as happy as a lark. Is that what they used to say? I may be wrong, but that's really the sense that I'm getting, that like you kind of need to float around and be obnoxiously happy. There's nothing that can bring you down. I'm feeling like you need to completely empty yourself. Completely be empty. There is nothing that you need. There is nothing that you want. The only thing that you need is for the sun to continue to shine, for the seasons to continue to change. You need things to be normal. And what normal is isn't riches and wealth all the time. You need to have your loved ones around for everybody to be healthy, happy, whole, or to at least be in a position where you can take care of the sick ones. There's a theme coming out about just being happy to be alive. Then we have the did I say the Emperor card earlier? The Emperor card came out earlier, and now on top of it is the Empress card. Um, this is in no disrespect to my fellas, because this is for you too. It's time to tap into your feminine self and just let things come to you. You're gonna attract everything it is that you need. You've said your prayers. You've put your manifestations out. You've done all this other stuff. Everything is going to come. I want you to get rid of your sticky notes. You don't have to do it all at one time if that overwhelms you. Think about it like this. What can I not worry about today? I'll use myself as an example. There are times when I want dinner to turn out perfectly. I have a taste for something. I know how I want it to taste. I know how I want it to look, how I want it to turn out. And those are the days when I really mess dinner up. And that's something that I can get rid of. Dinner does not have to be perfect. As long as it's edible, nobody is starving, and it tastes halfway decent, then it's a win. That's something that I can get rid of. Now, that's something kind of mundane, but you put it in the place of your life and kind of change it around the best way that you feel like you want to. What can I get rid of? For some of you, this is meeting your quota at work. This is you worrying about whether or not you are going to reach a goal every day at work. Take that down for a minute. Your goal every day is not to meet this number, not to make this many sales. Your goal is to make connections. The sale will come, the number will flow. Your goal is to build relationships. I don't know who that's for. Maybe that's specific, or maybe you can turn it around to fit your life. But for some reason, that also came up. But there is something to be said about waiting for things to come to you. And this is times are turning, and this is the return of the, what is it called, the great mother. So maybe that's why the Empress card came out. You need to be in a position where you can have an equal give and take with the universe. There is a verse that I heard from a James Baldwin book, and it says there's reason after all that some people wish to colonize the moon and others dance before it as an ancient friend. And to me, that speaks of two different mindsets that humans have. Either they can look up on things that they can't explain, or wonderful things, and they can say, I want to own that. I want that to be manipulated into what it is that I want it to be. I want to have control over that by any means necessary. There's that kind of people. And then there are then there's another set of people who just want to embrace the unknown, who just want to have an open and honest, free, mystical relationship, who don't mind surprises. And I feel like this is the time for you to put down your goals, put down your aspirations, and be in an open and honest relationship with the universe, allowing the universe to surprise you, making room for the supernatural. Oh, there's another book. It's called Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And in it, he talks about if we are stuck to a routine, if we are stuck to an end goal, then what we are doing is closing ourselves off and not allowing the supernatural to take place in our lives. True enough, bad things can happen. That's always a possibility, and it's a fact. Shit happens sometimes. But good things also happen to people. Some people actually do win the lottery, and they continue to use their money wisely, and it doesn't leave out in a month. You get what I'm saying? Or a year. There are good things that happen to people, and you need to be not so strict on your goals and aspirations. And I keep repeating that word, I don't know why. But opening yourself up to something supernatural to happen. Um, some of you can't sleep at night because you're so pinned down by what it is that you think should be happening right now. It's like, I thought I would be further along. And one of the affirmations that maybe you need to fall asleep saying to yourself is, I am exactly where I need to be. If you had if you had the knowledge that you have now, but you had it like several years ago, then you wouldn't be in the same position. You may have even been worse off. Because there are times when our ignorance, or our innocence, should I say, there are times when our innocence protects us. And if you knew then what you know now, you may not have been blessed enough to get through something. I'm also tapping into somebody who keeps looking back, and I can't tap into it. It's too much going on right there. But the message for that person is, you cannot go back, you can only move forward. And if that resonates with you, it's also coming through that what you have in your arsenal now is called life experience. You have a certain amount of wisdom that comes from life experience, that comes from messing up, that comes from failing, that comes from observation of others. And what you need to do is to take account of your life experience and the wisdom that you have gained so far, and you need to continue on your journey with what you have. What you need to know will come to you just like all this other information has, and you just continue to go. You don't need to be Lot's wife. You don't need to be turned into a pillar of salt because you continue to look back. There is no going back. You can only go forward. Give me just a second. A lot of you are about to come into contact with either a person or a group of people who are on your level, who vibrate on the same frequency as you do. You're going to work with this person to build a business, to help your community, to start a community garden, to just be friends. And it's going to be an open and honest communication. It's going to be like a two-way street. You're going to get each other's weirdness. There's something in you, and really in this other person, that is going to be made right by your union. For some of you, this is romantic, but not for all of you. It's because it's so broad. Um, some of you aren't looking for a romantic relationship, and some of you are. But for everyone, it is going to be open and honest, and yeah. We got the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups. There are a lot of um wait a minute. Yeah, wait 1 second. Clarify that, please. The number 10 and the number 8 can be significant. When you can open your fist of all these things that you have clenched so tight, when you can burn this loving fire of your dreams and aspirations and everything on your vision board, your prayer box, when you let all that go, more riches will begin to flow to you. It will open up a floodgate. And I'm not saying you're going to look and be like, oh, it's just so much. It's just so much. But it's going to happen when it needs to. It's the it's releasing your grasp. It's relinquishing your hold, your power, because I'm getting the sense of someone's hold has turned. Not Don't take this word in as face value, but I don't know how else to explain it in the human tongue. It's kind of it has an obsessive demonic state to it. You have held on to these dreams and aspirations of yours so tightly that you cannot enjoy your life, that you can't enjoy other people. You don't realize how blessed you are because you've held on to it, and you have treated these dreams as if they were God. And you can't serve two masters. That's what's coming out. But once you can let all this stuff go and you can start piece by piece, it doesn't have to, you don't have to be it doesn't you don't have to let go of it all at once. You can just let go of certain things, and it's going to get easier and easier with time. Is there anything else that they need to hear? It's like you're being reminded that you surrendering, releasing all of that, it doesn't mean that you're giving up. It doesn't mean that you stop trying, but it does mean that you do what you can and then you leave it alone. When you get down and you say your get down on your knees and you say your prayers at night, when you get up off of your knees, you need to try not to think about it anymore. After you do everything that you can at work and you know that you've tried your best, when you clock out, that's it. Don't take your work home with you. um, for my parents, and I feel like I got some parents listening in. Do what you can for your children. Don't, especially if they're small, don't abandon them. Do what you're supposed to do, by your children. But there is no such thing as perfect parenting. If you look online, everybody has something to say about the way somebody else parents their children. And sometimes something needs to be said, but sometimes what works for one child isn't going to work for another. And as long as you're trying your best, you know for a fact that you have your child's best interests at heart and you're doing what is best for them, then don't let anybody else tell you any different. Okay? And that means yourself too. Don't let your inner critic tell you that you're a bad parent. However, I do feel like some of you really need to evaluate whether or not you're doing the best thing for your child or whether or not you're doing the best thing for you. Okay. I'm tapping into somebody who is in a relationship that they don't want to be in, and they're saying, I'm in this for the child. But is it okay for the child to see you as sad as you are, or to see you making your partner as sad as you're making them because you can't forgive them for something? Now, that's really specific. I'm not really sure who that was for. Okay. Anything else? I feel like there's I am picking up on Tom Bombadil. And that's a Tolkien character who is extremely powerful, who has the ability to defeat all evil, but he chooses not to get involved. And I don't know his entire story, but he's just all knowing, all powerful, but he just kind of bops around in his own little happy world and he's okay with everything. And that kind of needs to be you. You kind of need to bop around, and even though you know it is of no concern to you, because whatever will be will be. What was that song? My mama used to sing it all the time. Que sera, sera. Yeah. It's like somebody kind of needs to listen to that song because whatever will be will be. Um, okay. Okay. Um, I think I'm gonna let that be it. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for tuning in and follow your own star.